Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 49 based on novel. So let's start. As the blue, soul seed, light group entered Xiao Yan's body, Xiao Yan felt that the blue light group was disturbingly moving in his body. Just when Xiao Yan was about to mobilize his soul force to gather the blue light group, the huge soul force just came into contact with the soul seed blue light group, and the soul seed blue light group seemed to be quiet, and then quickly moved towards the blue light group. Xiao Yan's soul sea is gone. In the blink of an eye, he was entrenched in Xiao Yan's soul realm. As the soul seed blue light group settled into Xiao Yan's soul realm, Xiao Yan also felt that this soul seed light group was emitting an extremely terrifying hot wave. Holy flame! Xiao Yan also muttered. Since coming to Do D continent, Xiao Yan has realized that his family obviously has some secrets on this continent, so he can only explore all of this when he becomes stronger. Because Xiao Yan is practicing a special technique, Fen Ju. It can be exchanged for a huge amount of power by swallowing holy flames. It can be said that this is the best shortcut to the strong. The scarcity of holy flames makes Xiao Yan powerless. Yang's soul seed, no wonder Xiao Yan was so excited. After a short period of calming down, Xiao Yan also discovered that the soul species, blue light group that settled in his soul realm would actually absorb his own soul power, which made Xiao Yan anxious. He came from his cultivation, and this soul power was also related to Xiao Yan's strength as a pharmacist, so he was also cautious. It seems that the blue light group of the soul species in the soul realm discovered Xiao Yan's displeasure, and then stopped absorbing it and lay quietly in Xiao Yan's soul realm. After Xiao Yan felt the movement of the soul seed blue light group, he smiled bitterly. Obviously his worries were unnecessary. Boom boom boom. The next moment, Xiao Yan was shocked to find that the jade white coffin in front of him collapsed instantly and turned into a pile of debris. The secret room door, which was tightly closed, was also opened at this time. I don't know how long it has passed. It must have been a long time since I came to this secret room. Xiao Yan also sorted out the breath on his body and said after he had stabilized. This is just one day. After all, the time in the secret realm is very slow, and a day inside is only an hour outside. Long Yi also said. Let's go out and have a look first. I don't know how Yueru and Mu Feng are doing. Also, I forgot about the trials. Xiao Yan put away the fairy sword after finishing speaking. After all, even if the fairy sword is damaged, it is rare in the world, so Xiao Yan still knows the truth of the innocence and the guilt, and then he carried it on his back again. Different fire eternal ancient ruler. Speaking of which, even Xiao Yan may not have discovered that since the ancient ruler of Yihuaheng had more ruler spirits, the aura on the ruler has become much stronger. Xiao Yan also walked out of the secret room slowly, and then walked towards the place he had entered. The other side. Yueru and Mu Feng also went to the depths of the passage to look for Xiao Yan from the coma. They said that the cave was intricate and complicated, and Mu Feng's tracking was also wrong many times. Damn! How come there are so many paths in this passage? Xiao Yan's breath is clearly in it, but why are we not going all the way? Mu Feng also said. Forget it, let's go back, maybe Xiao Yan has already gone back. Yueru also said, and then exited towards the back room. Who came in? Mu Feng was about to say something just now, but helplessly followed Yueru back. Although I don't know what your relationship is, it seems that anyone with discernment can see that you are interested in him. However, I still have to say that, based on my perception, Xiao Yan is very strong. It's very strong. Mu Feng also said softly to Yueru in front of her. Yu, who was walking in front, was quite surprised when she heard these words. She thought that Mu Feng was someone who only knew how to slay demons and eliminate demons. I know, but if I give up on some things, I think I will regret it for the rest of my life. So in order not to regret it in the future, you should let it go now. Who knows what will happen in the future? Yueru also said with her lips slightly parted as she walked away. Nice one with no complaints and no regrets. Mu Feng also smiled slightly. Obviously Yueru's words inspired Mu Feng's thinking. After walking for a while, a figure with a heavy ruler on his back appeared in front of Yueru and the others. Xiao Yan? You also called out in surprise. Well, where have you been? Xiao Yang also responded. Hey, we should be asking you this, right? We just woke up and you disappeared. We went to the depths of this cave to look for you, but unfortunately the storehouse inside was too complicated, so we returned without success. Mu Feng also said depressedly. Hey, when we came here, your minds were bewitched by the illusion of a ghost, but I couldn't understand the illusion, so I had to chase down into the depths of Shandong and kill it, and then you solved the illusion. Then there are too many roads in the depths of the cave, and it would be difficult for me to find a way back for a while, so I wasted my time. Xiao Yang also laughed. Obviously these words are true, but Xiao Yang omitted it. Most of them. I also found out that I actually fell into illusion. This cave is really evil, let's go quickly. Mu Feng also said. Hearing that, the three of them were also about to leave, but unexpectedly, the token on Yueru's hand fell. What about the numbers on this? Yueru also discovered that the numbers on the tokens given to them in the trials had actually changed. The number jumped from the beginning to the current 300. When Yang Mufeng and Xiao Yang also took out their respective tokens but they were surprised to find that the numbers on the two of them also changed. There is a 310 on the Mufeng token. And Xiao Yang's token has a height of 400. What's going on? Mu Feng was also surprised. They haven't done anything so far, but the points on this token have changed so much. I think this point should be increased by the shadow we met before I killed it. The rules of this audition are not to say that as long as you kill the ghosts in the corpse forest, or collect medicinal materials, you can get good points. Xiao Yang also said. Although Yueru and Mu Feng did not know why they increased so much, but according to the sudden increase of as many as 100 points, the shadow's strength was also extremely strong, so they all looked at Xiao Yang invariably. Why are you looking at me like this? Xiao Yang also felt uncomfortable by the eyes of the two, so he said. Xiao Yang, you are really amazing. Mu Feng also said with a smile, obviously this trial will be more and more interesting. What is this? Yueru also found a different button on the token and pressed it gently. Yueru pressed it lightly, and a ray of light suddenly radiated from the token, and then a huge message appeared in front of the three of them. The top 100 in the competition. The light that appeared on Yueru's token was projected into a paragraph of text, which appeared in front of the three of them. This is. Xiao Yang also shrank his pupils tightly, then stared at the text in front of him and murmured. Before the start of this trial, the person in charge said that this trial brought together hundreds of thousands of newcomers, but only 100 of them can join the 9 super sects, which is enough to see that the 9 super sects have received the disciples are strict, but without exception, those who can finally join these 9 super sects will have unlimited achievements in the future. This token can still be used like this. Mu Feng also said with a grin, apparently not thinking of such a method of use. Having said that, the eyes of the three of them also turned to the beam of light in front of them. Points plundering competition, 100th place, Shiran, gender, male, middle stage of the 4-star Do Di, points, 1000. On the last row of the text on the light beam, there were some small characters that caught the eyes of the three of them. Does the strength of the 100th at the bottom of the ranking actually reach the middle stage of the 4-star Do Di? Xiao Yang also muttered to himself. Don't think that Xiao Yang is only the peak of the 3-star Do Emperor now, but with the Lotus of Annihilation, the power of the Do Array Master, and the ancient ruler of the ancient fire with the spirit of the Kai, this kind of killer is used to deal with the middle stage of the 4-star Do Emperor. The strong Xiao Yang was also not afraid at all. According to the 5th-class talent rookies in our Hongshan stronghold, all the top 100 people who can enter this trial are the elites. It seems that we have to be careful. The strength of the 4-star Do Di in the middle stage. Mu Feng it is also thoughtful. After all, he is only the strength of the 4-star Do Emperor in the early stage, and he has to be careful when dealing with the 100 powerhouses in the middle of the 4-star Do Emperor. But I don't know why, since the Langya cave came out, Mu Feng could not see through Xiao Yang's cultivation. The strength of the 3-star Do Emperor peak, but now Xiao Yang seems to have an invisible layer of protection blocking his own exploration. Mu Feng can only vaguely feel that Xiao Yang's strength is still the peak of the 3-star Do Emperor, but he can't detect too much. Clear. But it's just that the points are a bit too many. Mu Feng also murmured. Xiao Yang also didn't know Mu Feng's thoughts. Looking at the token in his hand, he smiled helplessly, and then his eyes moved. What are the points? I have a good way. What's the solution? Mu Feng also asked surprisingly, but a bad feeling permeated his heart. Grab. Xiao Yang also spit out a word without haste or slow. Sure enough. Mu Feng also seemed to have expected it long ago. How about it? Do you dare to give it a try? Xiao Yang also raised the corner of his mouth slightly, then smiled. Why don't you dare? Mu Feng also answered. You, who was beside her, thought for a while and then agreed to Xiao Yang's proposal. Although I don't know the importance of these points, I think it takes a lot of points to get into the top 100. Moreover, compared to hunting ghosts and collecting medicinal herbs, it is undoubtedly the fastest way to loot other people's points. But this also has enough drawbacks, so go to strength. If you are not strong enough, then you will only hand over the points you have worked so hard to get to others. On the contrary, this is the fastest way to get points. Then it's decided. Xiao Yang muttered while looking into the distance. After all, this is the selection competition for joining the super sect within the Xianqian 3 days. It is not a place where you are soft-hearted. There are many real strong people participating in the selection. They will not show mercy to you just because you are a woman or you are weak. This audition is a competition of the weak and the strong. Since ancient times, it has been a winner and a loser. Therefore, there must be no sympathy element in this trial, otherwise it will only be a matter of time before failure. Xiao Yang and the three made a decision, and they were also ready to take big strides towards the outside, looking for contestants to grab points. By the way, who is the first? Xiao Yang also suddenly remembered and asked. When Yueru heard the words, she also smiled lightly, and then fiddled with the token on the jade hand, and a line of golden words appeared in front of the three of them. Points plundering competition, first place, Mu Yingying, female gender, points, 31,000, strength, 4-star Do D peak. This? Yueru also raised her eyebrows slightly, obviously the first place was too surprising. The strength of this first place actually has the peak of the 4-star Do Emperor. Mu Feng also muttered to himself. As Mu Feng in the early stage of the 4-star Do Emperor, he also deeply knows the 4-star Do Emperor, and each level contains the difference is also huge. Don't look at the difference between the early stage of the 4-star Dudi and the middle stage of the 4-star Dudi, but you can tell who is stronger and weaker in a real battle. If you want to win, unless the people in the early stage of the 4-star Do Emperor have powerful exercises or fighting skills, under normal circumstances, people in the early stage of the 4-star Do Emperor have no chance of winning against the middle stage of the 4-star Do Emperor. 4-star Do Emperor is at its peak. Xiao Yang also looked at the golden text in front of him, and then his eyes became deep. Obviously, the name of Mu Yingying made Xiao Yang feel dignified. It's really a strong opponent. It seems that I have to break through the 4-star Do Emperor as soon as possible, otherwise the chances of winning against this person are extremely small. Shaking his head helplessly, Xiao Yang also smiled bitterly. The strength of this 4-star Do Emperor's peak is not trivial. Speaking of which, there is a lot of pressure, but Xiao Yang is not afraid of backing down at all, because the road to becoming a strong person requires oneself to walk out step by step. This first place is actually a girl. Yueru couldn't hide her surprise and said. What? Mu Feng also said in surprise. Yu's words just fell. Xiao Yang and Mu Feng's eyes were directed to the golden text in front of them, which read, gender, female. 3 prominent characters. Xiao Yang and Mu Feng were obviously shocked by the strength of the first 4-star Do D peak just now, so they didn't pay attention to this gender. Now, looking at it, the first place in this trial is actually a girl. And also a woman with the peak strength of a 4-star Do D. This is unheard of. In the previous trials, the number of women in the top 100 would not exceed 1/10, and among the top 10, the number of women was close to none. This time, a woman actually won the first place. This is the first time since ancient times. Once, outside the Yin Corpse forest, Wu Jiang and Hudu were also sitting slowly in a pavilion. Inside the pavilion, groups of rays of light were slowly projecting the situation in the Yin Corpse forest. This Mu Ying is really amazing. The fire attribute fighting spirit in her body is too tyrannical. It would take a lot of effort for me to deal with it. Hudu also laughed. Hey, this trial seems to be more interesting. After Wu Jiang finished speaking, the space inside the pavilion suddenly twisted strangely, and then a huge sense of heat hit. Is there an enemy? Hudu was also alert and shouted. Don't panic, it's your own. What happened to Xiao Jiang? I came quickly after I received your secret letter. A middle-aged man in a red robe smiled kindly. Senior brother, to tell you the truth, this time something big may have happened. Wu Jiang also said seriously. What happened? The middle-aged man in the red robe also said. This time, the Hongshan stronghold I was in charge of lost nearly 100 people. And according to my investigation, 96 of them have been thrown into the blood pool and turned into blood. The remaining 4, 2 other sons of the Jiang family, one is in a coma, one is still missing, and the remaining 2 are still missing. People are the first and third of the 5th class talented newcomers this time. Wu Jiang also said briefly. So there are still 4 people missing? The middle-aged man in the red robe also muttered to himself. What's wrong with my senior brother? Wu Jiang also asked after seeing his senior brother's contemplation. Chang Yu, Wu Jiang's senior brother, is also a teacher of the outer sect of Burning Incense Pavilion. He has a very good relationship with Wu Jiang. It's okay, in fact, it's not your fault. After all, this twin ghost emperor is very cunning, and Hongshan is the closest mountain range to seal it, so these things are also. But you can rest assured. When you sealed it 1,000 years ago, you expected today's results, so you sealed it separately, so as long as this twin ghost emperor doesn't fuse the two, you can handle it with your strength. As for those who died, only compensation orders can be issued. Chang Yu also sighed. Hey, that's the only way. Wu Jiang was also ashamed. After all, these people disappeared in the places under his jurisdiction, and he felt a little uncomfortable. Compassion Order, this is a token dedicated to all sects in Xian Santian. The issuance of this token means that the deceased was accidentally mutilated by ghosts in the ghost world. The sect in Xian Santian will give certain compensation, but once this compensation order is issued, it means people die. It's not your fault, the seal's strength is also constantly weakening. Obviously, this twin ghost emperor has been planning for a long time, otherwise it would be impossible to break through the seal so easily. Besides, swallowing up the power of the blood of 96 newcomers did not satisfy the position of 100. In addition to the fact that the ghost emperor forcibly broke the seal, the strength of the ghost emperor was also greatly damaged. Chang Yu said. You mean? We have a ghost here. Wu Jiang frowned and said slightly. I came here quietly, don't let other people know about this, I'll help you in secret. Chang Yu put his finger outside his mouth and blew lightly. Well. Wu Jiang and Hudu also said in unison. I'll go inside and take a look. You all pay attention to the seal on the 3rd floor of the Infernal Corpse Forest. If you can't stop the Ghost Emperor from breaking through the seal, everything will be done according to your ability. I always feel that things are not that simple. Chang Yu finished. It disappeared out of thin air and headed towards the Yin Corpse Forest. Senior brother still comes and goes without a trace. Hudu also laughed. Well, let's be more careful, this corpse forest is very strange. Wu Jiang also said. Oh, yes, most of the people in Hongshan and Honggu go to worship their ancestors. Hudu also said as if he remembered something. Yeah. Wu Jiang agreed casually, staring at the many light groups in front of him. As the general manager, he had to ensure the fairness of the trials. This first place is actually a woman at the pinnacle of a 4-star Do Emperor, it's really terrifying. Mu Feng also smacked his lips. Okay, anyway, There will be countermeasures when we encounter it in the future. Let's go to, we may still be on the outside on the first floor. Xiao Yan also laughed. Obviously the first place in the peak of the 4-star Do Emperor put a lot of pressure on him, so Xiao Yan also felt that he should act. On the one hand, to prepare for breaking through the 4-star Do Di, on the other hand, it is also to increase the points. Well, let's go. Yueru also sounded like a silver bell. Xiao Yan and the others walked towards the first floor vigilantly. On the second floor of the Yin Quartz Forest, a mountain peak, a huge giant tiger is slowly lying on the ground, with a small figure on its forehead. Taking a closer look, isn't the one lying on the tiger's head a human woman? You know, apart from dragons and some powerful races, tigers have always been one of the few monsters that can be called overlords, and every tiger has a conspicuous sign on its forehead. Wang symbolizes that the tiger is the king of all beasts, so let alone lying on the tiger's forehead. If Xiao Yan were here, he would be able to recognize at a glance that this so-called tiger was the heavenly fire sacred tiger with a fierce reputation. And looking at the pattern of the word, king, on the forehead of the heavenly fire sacred tiger, it has 5 patterns. This symbolizes that this heavenly fire sacred tiger possesses a strength comparable to that of a human 5-star fighting emperor. This woman is lying on the forehead of the heavenly fire sacred tiger. Isn't she afraid of being eaten by one bite? As we all know, the heavenly fire sacred tiger is famous for its fierceness. The heavenly fire sacred tiger is a magical beast with a unique flame attribute. This heavenly fire sacred tiger lives by devouring all kinds of flames, so it is particularly fond of flames, but don't underestimate the heavenly fire sacred tiger, which combines different flames. Tiger, its power is also very powerful. Big tiger, have you woken up? Why are you so lazy? The woman on the forehead said dissatisfiedly. Hearing the woman's words, the heavenly fire sacred tiger on the side also called out, ouch tilde, a few times, as if it was resistance, indicating that it was very incongruous for the woman to lie on the forehead of the king of beasts like this. Resistance is invalid. The woman also sounded like a silver bell. Hearing that, the heavenly fire sacred tiger was helpless and made a few, ouch, and then let the woman lie on his forehead. The woman on the forehead of the heavenly fire tiger has a beautiful headgear on top of her hair, and 2 dark ponytails also collapsed from the silver headgear. The neat bangs also set off the woman's egg-like face. Even more beautiful tilde, the double ponytails swayed left and right under the breeze, making the woman look full of vitality. The woman's azure blue dress outlines her entire body. This almost perfect line exudes flames that are also azure blue, wrapping the woman round and round, like a princess in fire. In this regard, Tianhua Xinghu is also very happy, because the blue flame emanating from this woman is flowing into his body continuously, and the huge energy contained in it is only known to Tianhua Xinghu himself, so he did not stop the woman from lying on the ground. On your forehead. Is that Mu Yingying here? Why didn't I see it? It was a man dressed in silver who spoke, and the token in the man's hand had 21,000 points on it. No, her breath is here, you can't go wrong, said a figure in a white robe behind. Where is it? The white figure also pointed to a mountain peak and said. The man with the silver figure followed the guide and found that on a slightly upright mountain, there was a woman who was enough to make everything look pale. The strange thing was that there seemed to be an inconspicuous king under the woman's jade feet. It can be considered that I found you. It seems that the first place is none other than me. The silver figure also roared, and then quickly flew away to the mountain peak on the side. The girl is the first place in this trial? The silver figure also came to the mountain peak and said that there was no one around. It's barely, what's the matter? The woman with 2 ponytails also said indifferently, and there was some displeasure in her voice. Inu Hui, do you want to borrow something from the girl? I don't know if it is feasible, said the silver figure named Yu Hui. Oh, what? The woman lying on the forehead of the heavenly fire sacred tiger also laughed with great interest, and the blue flames all over her body were also closed and no longer surrounding her body. Naturally, it's the first place points on the girl's token. Yu Hui also laughed. Although he didn't know why, Yu Hui felt a strange aura from Mu Yingying's smile, but the victory was in his hands, so Yu Hui didn't take it to heart. It is true that Mu Yingying is the peak of the 4-star Do Emperor, but Yu Hui and the white figure Yu Jing are twins. Although the two are only the late stage of the 4-star Do Emperor, they work together to deal with the peak of the 4-star Do Emperor. The two also have the power to fight, so their tacit understanding is quite terrifying. This is the capital of the two who dare to challenge Mu Yingying for the first place. Big brother, what nonsense are you talking to her? Let's go. Yu Jing also flew over slowly and said, "Hey, since the girl is like this, then I can only offend you." Yu Hui still said with a look that he thought was very elegant, "It's really a hypocritical human being, I really hate it." Mu Yingying's slender eyebrows were blinked, and she said with some disgust, "Lying on the body of the heavenly fire sacred tiger is the famous first place in the selection competition, Mu Yingying." The two brothers Yu Hui and Yu Jing also walked towards Mu Yingying. They didn't believe that this seemingly harmless girl would be so simple, or else they would claim the title of number one in vain. Mu Yingying also tidied up her blue dress and then slightly stretched her hand over her head. "Big tiger, bite them." Mu Yingying's silver bell-like voice also appeared on this mountain peak. "Fast back." Just as Yu Hui and Yu Jing were about to approach Mu Yingying to attack, Yu Hui heard Mu Yingying's voice, and without thinking, said directly to Yu Jing who was behind, "Although I don't know what it is, but it's definitely not ordinary." Yu Jing also hurried back when she heard the words. Boom boom boom. With the sound of Mu Yingying's silver bell, the mountain Yu Jing and Yu Hui thought collapsed and turned into a huge monster with white faces. "This is Sacred Tiger of Heavenly Fire." Yu Hui also recognized the origin of this beast at a glance and said, "Damn it, looking at the strength of the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger, it's only stronger than this Mu Yingying." "Brother, what should we do now?" Yu Jing said. "Just wait and see. I don't believe that this little demon girl can control the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger. She is the king of all beasts. How could she be willing to be driven by a human being?" Yu Hui also thought and said again and again, "Big tiger, don't kill these two people." Mu Yingying also gently attached to the tiger's ear of the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger and said something. "Oh tilde," the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger also howled, obviously knowing what he meant. After Mu Yingying finished speaking, she also left here. This level of battle involves a lot of scope. It would be bad if one accidentally gets dust on her clothes. Is the Holy Fire Tiger sick today? Howling all the time. Yu Jing also scolded, "Though DI-level monsters have the same intelligence as humans, and it is normal to speak, could it be a half-finished product?" "Oh tilde," the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger howled and looked at Yu Hui and the two. "Small human beings, you should pay the price for your words and deeds." The Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger was obviously provoked by the two, and then raised his huge mouth and said to the two, "The reason why Qian Huashenghu just howled and didn't speak in front of Mu Yingying is because the blue flame on Mu Yingying's body has the magic power to fascinate Qian Huashenghu, so Qian Huashenghu is like taking care of her own daughter to Mu Yingying. General love, this is not to say." A huge flame energy emerged from the tiger's mouth, and then rushed towards Yu Hui and Yu Jing. What a terrifying flame! The eyesight of the two was also extraordinary, and they felt an extremely terrifying power from the flame. The two of them just wanted to dodge by coincidence. An attack like this one from the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger was very easy for the two of them, who had practiced high-level fighting skills. Saying it's late is fast. Just when Yu Hui and the others were about to escape from the fireball attack of the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger, the huge tiger pupils of the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger actually turned red, and then a terrifyingly hot flame emanated from the tiger's pupils. Space freezes. A milky white light moved towards the space where Yu Hui and the two were at a speed invisible to the naked eye. It's not good. Yu Hui, who didn't take it to heart, looked at the milky white light and knew that something was wrong. Sure enough. Before Yu Hui's words were finished, the space where the two of them were located was absolutely controlled, and a strong suction attracted the two of them, imprisoning them firmly. At the same time, the fireball that emerged from the mouth of the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger also slammed into the bodies of Yu Hui and the others. Boom boom boom. The terrifying destructive power instantly turned into a life-threatening death, and the hot flames kept leaving deep scars on the two bodies. Space freezes. This is the natural talent of the heavenly fire sacred tiger. Ordinary people only know that the heavenly fire sacred tiger lives by devouring flames but they don't know that the heavenly fire sacred tiger is the pride of the fire attribute and space attribute. The spatial attribute of control makes Qianhua Xinghu worthy of the king of beasts. The time of space freezing passed quickly, but even for a moment, it was enough, because the effect of this space freezing was only to let the fireball attack the two of them. It seems that the big tiger is angry. Mu Yingying also saw that the holy tiger's display space was solidified, and her pink and tender hands also covered her mouth and nose slightly to prevent the dust from being battled from entering. Normally, space freezing is the home skill of the heavenly fire sacred tiger, but this kind of housekeeping skill will only be displayed when it encounters danger or provocation. Now, it is clear that Yu Hui and the two have annoyed the heavenly fire sacred tiger. Cough cough cough. Yu Hui and Yu Jing both coughed violently at the same time, and then both of them were in ragged clothes, and the wounds on their bodies were also very embarrassed. The attack is quite difficult. Damn, this beast is so cunning. Yu Jing, let this beast take a good look at our power. After Yu Hui finished speaking, silver light flashed all over his body, and when Yu Jing heard the words, it also emitted a huge silver light at the same time. The heavenly fire sacred tiger also smelled a dangerous breath, and then the whole body was wrapped in red flames. If you look closely, you can see that there is a hint of blue in the red flames. The heavenly fire sacred tiger raised its arrogant head and stared at Yu Jing. People, like emperors looking at tiny ants. It seems that we have delayed for a while. There is no one on the first floor of the corpse forest. Let's go to the second floor to see. Xiao Yan also said to the two behind him. They also spent a lot of time here. No other contestants were seen, just some weak ghosts. Although they killed some ghosts intermittently, the increase in points was very small. Now, Xiao Yan has only reached 500 points for the three of them. As for Yueru and Mu Feng, they have just exceeded 300 points. This speed is too slow, so the three of them cannot change the plan. Let's go. Yueru and Mu Feng also agreed. Now, 5 days have passed since the 1-month selection competition. I believe that many weak people have been eliminated, and the rest are some people with decent strength. So I plan to go to the second floor to have a look. On the second floor of the infernal corpse forest, the heavenly fire sacred tiger was surrounded by red flames at this time, and then raised his arrogant head to look at the two of them. Belong to its enough pride. Yu Hui and Yu Jing looked at each other, and then, ignoring the wounds on their bodies, said to the heavenly fire sacred tiger indifferently, originally, this move was specially used to deal with Mu Yingying. Since you insisted on blocking us, now I'll use you as a stepping stone first. After speaking, the silver light on the two of them reached the limit, and then the aura of the two returned to the late stage of the 4-star Do Di. Obviously, the silver light was due to the thunder attribute Do Qi. When their strength recovered to their peak, the silver light on the two of them disappeared instantly, and then at the hand veins of the two, a trace of bright red blood kept falling towards the ground. Tick-tock. The blood slowly flowed down the arm, slowly converging into a circle on the ground, but at this time, there was an undisguised excitement on the faces of Yu Jing and Yu Hui. Summon, Silver Kang Thunder Wolf King. After the circle formed on the ground that Yu Hui looked at, an illusory energy rushed towards the circle, and he suddenly shouted loudly. As Yu Hui's voice fell, the circle formed by the blood of the two of them burst into a monstrous storm, and then a terrifying hurricane suddenly formed. Ho ho ho! Within the bright red circle within a few meters, a silver hurricane swept frantically, and then with the formation of the hurricane, a slightly larger figure also loomed in front of everyone. What is that? Mu Yingying, who was standing aside, couldn't help but wrinkle her eyes slightly when she saw the behemoth in the circle. Obviously, the creatures inside made her feel a terrifying power. Don't worry about it, big tiger, or I'll give you so much fire for nothing. After speaking, he made a face at the heavenly fire sacred tiger not far away, looking very cute. Success! Yu Hui also laughed excitedly, and there was no lack of extreme pride in his smile. Summoning fighting skills. As the name suggests, it is a fighting skill with the ability to summon. This fighting skill and seal fighting skill are the rarest, just like the flying fighting skill, but this summoning fighting skill is undoubtedly the most powerful. The production of summoning fighting skills is quite troublesome. It needs to be guided by the blood of a summoned beast. With the addition of special means, the soul of the summoned beast is sealed in the scroll. The practitioners use the summoning beast to use the training method in the summoning scroll. The soul of the summoned beast is guided by its own blood as the body of the summoned beast, so that the summoned beast will come. The power of the summoned fighting skill is related to the soul power of the summoned beast in the summoning scroll. However, the range of summoning fighting skills is quite wide. As long as you have a soul and know the special production method, you can summon humans, ghosts, demons, and demons. With the appearance of summoned beasts in the summoning circle composed of fresh blood, Yu Hui and Yu Jing also had a lot of white cheeks on their cheeks, pale and weak. Obviously, the blood power they just spent made them quite overwhelmed, but they finally succeeded, so all this it's all worth it. The two retreated a long way, and then looked at the heavenly fire sacred tiger and the silver thunder wolf. The summoning circle composed of blood lasted for a while, and then disappeared without a trace. In the summoning circle, the whistling hurricane gradually calmed down, and then a behemoth also appeared in the field of vision. It was a giant wolf that was dozens of feet tall and nearly 100 feet long. With grey-white hair all over his body, majestic and powerful limbs and a tail that wobbles constantly, he looks quite domineering. The most conspicuous thing is that there is only one eye on the forehead of this creature, and the eyes are all grey. Looking at the other eye, there is a deep scar, which is obviously the loss of one eye after being injured in battle, but since this does not affect the terrifying vision of the silver thunder wolf at all. The giant wolf was covered in silver rays of light, staring closely at the heavenly fire sacred tiger in front of him. It seemed that he felt an extremely terrifying power from the flames on the heavenly fire sacred tiger's body. Fiery. It's such a rare summoning fighting skill, it seems that the background of these two is not small. The rarity of this kind of thing is obvious to all. Tianhua sacred tiger's amber pupils were also staring at Yu Jing and Yu Hui, whose breath was extremely sluggish in front of them, and muttered to themselves. The next moment, Tianhua sacred tiger's amber pupils also stared at the silver-blue thunder wolf in front of him, and then shook his head slightly. It is a monster that is comparable to the peak of the human 4-star Do Emperor, and his own strength is now comparable to that of a human 5-star Do Emperor. Wearing the silver-blue thunder wolf, once it has any action, the heavenly fire sacred tiger will immediately make corresponding actions. This is the reason why the enemy doesn't move and I don't move. Oh tilde, the silver-blue thunder wolf howled deeply towards the sky, and the howling sound was huge and deep. This is. The heavenly fire sacred tiger also shrank its pupils tightly. With its knowledge, it is natural to know that wolf-like beasts can tell the level of their strength and status from the sound, and the howl of the silver-blue thunder wolf. It is also the most powerful of the wolves. This silver-blue thunder wolf is very likely to be the king of wolves, the legendary silver-blue thunder wolf king. Silver Kang Thunder Wolf King, the overlord level among the wolf monsters, not only possesses terrifying strength, but its speed is even more terrifying. After all, wolf monsters are known for their speed when preying, and from the sound of howling. Zhongqian Huosheng who knows that this is a magical beast that is comparable to a human 5-star fighting emperor. A monster of the same level as yourself. It's troublesome now? Tian Huosheng who said in a low voice, and then his amber eyes became solemn. On the second floor of the corpse forest, a battle is about to begin. This video will end here.